guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is day 2 of foundation week and we'll be talking about the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. This is fairly new and I purchased this off of Sephora during the VIB sale. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on this, watching me do a demo, applying it, yada yada yada, you guys know the drill, then just keep on watching. Yesterday in my day 1 foundation where I talked about the Sunday Riley, the influencer, I mentioned how this week is going to be full of foundations that are basically new to me. They could be new to the market. They may not be new to the market. Some are first impressions. Yesterday's Sunday Riley was like a second impression because I had used it once before. This foundation is a true first impressions today. And I'm really excited to use this. A lot of people recommended this foundation to me when I was talking about the VIB sale or when I've reviewed foundations in the past. People were like, get this foundation. It's perfect for dry skin, etc. So let's talk about some of the claims first. It is complexion perfecting. It's serum infused, skincare, color correction, buildable to medium coverage. So I'm guessing this is a light to medium coverage, silky smooth finish while nourishing skin with a powerful blend of botanical actives for skin that naturally glows. Aloe leaf, rosehip, jojoba, and marula oils soothe and ensure the formula effortlessly melts into skin for a more even, luminous appearance. Blurs imperfections for complexion that looks refined and refreshed. Well, this sounds perfect for me. I like light to medium coverage foundations. I have dry skin, so I really like this idea of oils that soothe my skin as well. And I like the idea that this is like serum infused. All right, it says to shake before use. I will do so. And I have a couple tools here with me. I have a sponge that I just washed, and I also have my Sonia G Base 1 brush, which I like for foundations. So I will start with the Base 1 brush. If that doesn't work, I'll move over into the sponge. We have some other tools on the bench waiting if neither of those work. So let's start applying. So this is a really nice bottle. I like this glass, and I hope this just lifts off, and it does. I'll start with one. I'll start with 2. Start with 2 pumps. There's the texture. It's a little bit thicker than I thought. Interesting. And I probably could have done with 1.5 pumps. I think 2 is a lot. Let's see here. So I'll start by applying it to half of my face, and we'll take a look at the difference and see what the coverage is like. So I'm going in with the Base 1 brush. Yeah, I think this color is good. It's, as you can see, it's a little bit white for my forehead, but it's a little bit dark for my neck. So it's like right in between. I always forget to mention this before I start, but my face is freshly cleaned. It's moisturized. I don't put primer down when I'm testing a foundation because I really want to see how the foundation behaves all on its own. So I just have moisturizer down. This foundation seems to be taking a bit to kind of set down. Usually when I use a brush, I can spread out the foundation, and then once I start buffing in, it buffs in really nicely to the skin. But if I start the buffing and it looks like I'm just moving the foundation around, I know that the foundation is just kind of taking a while to kind of like settle into the skin. So it's just taking a little bit longer than my average foundation. So there it is, applied to half of my face and not on this side. I want to say the coverage is a little bit closer to medium than it is to light. It is very natural. I definitely still see my skin kind of peeking through, but it's definitely not what I would consider light. You know, I consider something like a tinted moisturizer to be very, very light. Something like the Glossier Skin Tint. That's light. You know, that's a light coverage. This is definitely, there's a little bit more going on here. This is definitely like more to medium. So that's good. I don't feel like I need to build this up. I think 1 layer is good. I think the finish of the foundation is very, very nice. It's very natural. It's just a little bit dewy, you know, not too much. I don't feel like there's like radiance going on, but it's just a little bit dewy, which I think is really, really pretty. It looks very healthy. So far, so good. It's not doing anything weird on my trouble spots like my forehead, chin, nose area. It looks really nice. So that is very promising. So I'm going to go ahead and apply foundation to the second half of my face, and I'm going to go in with the sponge. I just want to see how that works, since this does take a little bit more to set down than I'm used to. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the sponge and just pounce. So I think the coverage is a little bit sheer with the sponge. That's really no surprise. It generally is a little bit because of how the sponge works and also because of the water in the sponge. So I'm not really surprised there, but I do like how that was much faster. With the brush side, I felt like I kind of had to wait a little bit and just sort of keep working it in and working it in. With the sponge, I feel like pounce, pounce, and it's done. So that's good. I'm just going to take what's left on the back of my hand and just kind of wipe it off with the sponge and just apply a little bit more, only because I feel like this side is a little bit lighter than the first side. So there it is applied. So far I'm liking it. Like I said, it's not clinging to any weird kind of skin texture that I have on my forehead, around my mouth area, which is really good, and it feels very nice. There is zero scent to it. It's been about 5 minutes. I don't see any oxidizing going on. I don't see any color change, so that is also very good. So recently when I started testing foundations, I stopped using concealer because I'd put the concealer down around my eyes, and you know, I would do a check-in and I would say, oh, okay, like I feel like my fine lines are being emphasized, and I didn't know if it was the concealer or the foundation. So I'm just taking the concealer out of the game. I'm just gonna have foundation on my face. So I also stopped applying powder and kind of setting down the foundation because, again, I just really want to see how the foundation behaves on its own. And I know it's like I go back and forth between wanting to see the foundation all on its own with no help of a concealer, with no help of a powder. But on the other hand, it's like, well, on a normal day, I probably would powder. So I don't know, I'm sort of conflicted between those two thoughts. But I think for this, I'm just going to not put any concealer, not put any powder, and just see how the foundation behaves. So I'm going to apply the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. It's about 9 o'clock right now. I started putting my makeup on probably around 8:30 because I didn't do that much. So I just added a little bit of eyeshadow, some eyebrow stuff. I'm just using a cream cheek color and some sheer lipstick, and that's it. So I didn't add any powder. I didn't add any actual powder products to my cheeks. Again, I just really want to see how this foundation works on its own, and it's only been about a half hour, but the foundation looks really good. It's not doing anything funky. It's maybe emphasizing my laugh lines here a little bit, but other than that, I think it looks great. It's not doing anything weird on my forehead where foundation generally does like weird stuff. It looks really good. I like the finish. Again, it has like a slight glow. Anyway, so I am going to be out and about. It's going to get into the 90s here in Vegas. I will probably regret the fact that I didn't put powder on, but at my midday check-in, at least we'll be able to see whether or not I do need some powder. So I will see you then. Hey guys, I am doing a midday check-in. It's about noon. I'm actually about to go to the dog park because the puppy is kind of losing her mind. Anyway, so I'll probably do another check-in after that because it'll be a really good test to see how this foundation looks after, you know, being out in the sun, and it's a little bit windy out today. But anyway, it's, what did I say? It's about noon. I put this on, let's say at like 8:30. So it's been about 3.5 hours, and I did just come back from running a few errands. I am loving this foundation so far. This is the foundation with no powder, there's no concealer, there's no primer, and it looks pretty darn flawless. I think it looks really, really good considering it's had absolutely no help. So I will be back maybe in a couple hours post dog park, but I will definitely be back probably around 4:30. I will be back for my final check-in and review. Hey guys, I am doing another check-in because I just got back from the dog park. It is like 93 degrees outside. I was sweating bullets, and I feel like this foundation is still holding up. It looks really, really great. I mean, I think it's starting to wear off a little bit around my nose. A lot of the redness is sort of showing through, but that is to be expected. I mean, I was like running around with her and just like sweat was pouring down my face, but I just sort of patted it, and I feel like the foundation looks pretty. I'm kind of like hiding out in like the shade right now, so I apologize if it's a little dim, but the foundation looks really, really good. I am really impressed with it. I think it's looking really nice. I think it's holding up really, really well. I'm excited. So I will be back later on today for my final thoughts, final check-in, and review. Hey guys, it's about 4:30 right now. I've had this makeup on for about 8 hours today, and while that's not maybe the longest amount of time, I really have put it through the test. I was out and about this morning, and then this afternoon I was at the dog park, and it was broiling hot. It was like well into the 90s, and there was no shade there. So here are my thoughts and here are my observations. I really like this foundation. I think it has held up extremely well considering I have no primer down and I didn't powder or set it at all. I think it looks pretty amazing. The bulb of my nose, yes, it looks a little bit oily, but again, I haven't blotted, I haven't powdered, I haven't done any touching up at all. So I think it's done an amazing job. I think this area down here on my chin, it's starting to look a little cakey. I'm not surprised. I sweated a lot when I was at the dog park, and I was kind of just trying to like pat my face dry from my sweat without disturbing my makeup too much. But I think it's unavoidable that without setting it with no primer that, you know, weird things are going to start to happen. But I mean, minimal. Very minimal. And compared to the Sunday Riley Influencer Foundation that I tested yesterday, this is, so much better, and I didn't even have all of the sort of environmental issues with that foundation. I'm super impressed with this foundation. The skin on my forehead still looks very smooth, very flawless, not doing anything there. This is where I sweat the most too, so I think that looks pretty amazing. I think there's been a little fading around my nose. Not surprising, but again, I think it's held up incredibly well considering the day that I've had. So I'm not sure if I gave you the stats of this foundation, but there are 10 shades that are available. It is 1 ounce and it's $54. And again, I purchased this off of Sephora during the VIB sale, and it looks like 2 of the colors are sold out at the moment. Color Tavarua, that is light with neutral undertones. That was actually the other one I was thinking about getting. And Bowen, which is light with warm peachy undertones. Those 2 colors at the moment are sold out. So this is Texel, and they describe it as a light with neutral cool undertones, which tends to be my complexion. Again, I have kind of warm undertones up here, but the rest of my face is cool. So I usually try and go for neutral. That just works a little bit better for my complexion. So I think Texel was a great shade match for me. I'm so happy that this foundation worked out. You guys were right. So many of you recommended this foundation to me. They were like, oh, if you have dry, sensitive skin, definitely try this foundation. Definitely try this foundation. And I was like, all right, okay, I'll order it. Wasn't that excited about it. It was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I am so glad I did. Thank you guys so much for recommending this. And I have to say, I was really bummed out about the Sunday Riley Influencer Foundation. I really wanted that one to work out for me. I love that brand. I love that Juno oil. That is my facial oil. So I was really bummed about that. So I feel like my love for foundation has been redeemed with this Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please let me know down below in the comment section. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for day 3 of Foundation Week. I am really excited for tomorrow's foundation. Definitely tune in to see which one I picked to review. So subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.